Hello, welcome to Irish Football Fan TV. It's myself, Paul Neal, and I'm here to give you the rating of the Irish transfer window 2022. Obviously, this is the summer window, so I'm only going to go with summer transfers, and I'm only going to go with relative players who are either established or aspiring to be established via the 21s. So yeah, I'm going to start off with big Nathan Collins, with his big transfer to Wolves from Burnley, of course. It's great to see Irish players making Premier League moves rather than, loitering in the Championship. It's great to see someone like Nathan Collins, who ever since the Lithuania game has really kicked on and really gone up another level. You see that in his performances at Burnley, and obviously that's why Wolves are taking a punt on him now. So much so that they've let Cody go to Everton on loan for the season. So Nathan Collins, he's ready made, and I really look forward to seeing what he does now in the next coming years. But I'm going to give that transfer a 9. I think that's a solid 9, a really good transfer, and it bodes well for both sides. I think it was a no-brainer between both clubs. Burnley obviously making a good profit off him, and obviously Wolves getting a centre-half who's ready to take his stock to the next level. Next up, Gavin Bazunu to Southampton from Manchester City. Now, this one, it's almost like a loan deal, because if he does well, then City are going to buy him back. He's definitely got the potential to be one of the best goalkeepers in the world in the future. In terms of rating, I'm going to rate this one as an 8, but it has the possibility of being a 10, just purely because we know he's going to get first team minutes there. He already has. He's got in there. He's been number 1 so far this season. And yeah, it's great to see him kick on and go to that next level. He was obviously at Portsmouth last season. It seemed to be a level below what he was capable of, because we've seen his performances with Ireland, with the national team, and he's playing against some elite level players when he's coming up against them for Ireland. So it's no surprise that he's doing well so far. So I'm going to give that transfer an 8, and it's not like, it's just purely down to the fact that if it was a bigger club, he probably would have got lesser of a rating. But the fact that he went to Southampton and he weighed up the options, like he had opportunities to go to Everton and stuff like that, which you can see. I did an interview with him just after he signed for Southampton. So look, I think it's a clever move by him and Manchester City, and I think kind of one of those moves that worked well for everybody. So that's why I've gone with him there. Shane Duffy then, from Brighton to Fulham. I'm going to give that one a 7. I think it has potential, but so far it hasn't really worked out for Duffy. We know that he left Brighton because Graham Potter didn't really feel like he was up to the style of play, maybe so, and probably didn't think he'd get as much minutes. And we all know that Shane Duffy needs to be playing. And Stephen Kenny has been putting pressure on the Irish players to be playing at their clubs, or they are likely to miss out. And with the emergence of Omobamidele, Darragh O'Shea, and Nathan Collins, I think everybody in that centre defensive position are looking over their shoulders. We've got Darragh Lenihan, who I'll speak about shortly, John Egan as well. So there's plenty of competition there, and that's obviously a move that Shane said, I need to get out and play, or my spot in the Irish team is at risk, and he's gone to Fulham. And so far it hasn't been amazing for him, but over the course of the season it might even itself out, and he might get himself into contention. We obviously know that the international's coming up shortly, and if he's in the squad, that could be a good window for him to get a few minutes, and then obviously come into the Fulham side off the back of that. So the international break will be interesting for him. Josh Cullen to Anderlecht. I actually think this is a fantastic move, albeit people are thinking that he is moved away from European football to link up obviously with Vincent Kompany, who he made his kind of name with at Anderlecht. But I think it's a move because if he does well at Burnley, there's a chance he'll get a move to the Premier League, and his performances so far for Burnley have been fantastic. I'm going to give that one a 9, and it's because it has potential for him to kick on and do really well. He's probably the first name in the Irish team sheet at the moment, and you'd probably say the same for Burnley as well. But I think that's the one, for Vincent Kompany to show so much faith in Josh Cullen. I think that goes to show, and he's brought him. I think he was one of his first signings. He brought him straight in and continued on from where they left off at Anderlecht, and I think he's only going to go upwards from here. So I think it's a wise move. He's a bit closer to home, albeit he was doing very well in Belgium, but I think the standard would be better. I'm not saying the Championship is better than the Belgian League, but there's an opportunity for him he's a good chance of getting back into the Premier League with Burnley. That's just my opinion. Cyrus CHRISTIE, he was obviously at Swansea and Nottingham Forest. He was on loan last season with Swansea, but he's joined Hull. Look, I'm going to give that one a 6. It's not really that relevant. I know he's in the last squad, but Cyrus has always got a decent club. He's a decent player. He's not going to be a player that's going to win you games or anything like that. He's a decent squad player for the Irish national team, and that's about it at this stage. He's not going to get in ahead of the likes of Seamus Coleman or Matt Doherty, and there's other players coming through there like Danny McNamara and FESTY EBOSELE, who are all coming through now. So I think Cyrus's days are very much numbered in the Irish national team, but in fairness to him, every time he's called up, he turns up and he does a job, so you can't really fault him. But in terms of this transfer, I'm going to give it a 6. Kieran Clark from Newcastle to Sheffield United. It seems as though this is just a move where Clark needed to get out and play some games, because obviously with the way Newcastle are headed now with all the money that they have, players like Clark and probably Jeff Hendrick, they don't have a future at Newcastle anymore. And Sheffield United, it makes sense. John Egan's there, Enda Stevens is there, you know, players who he's played with at the international level are there, and he's staying in England, albeit it's a level below. But I think, again, like Cyrus CHRISTIE, I think his days in the Irish national team are numbered. So I'd probably give that one a 6. Aaron Connolly's move to Venezia, I would give this one a 7. But it has potential to be 9 if he can get a couple of goals and finish the season on a high. It hasn't gone that well from so far this season, but we're only 2 or 3 games in. I think he had COVID just before the season started as well. Not that I'm making excuses for him, but I think once he gets that first goal in Italian football, I think that could be the making of him. I'm hoping that he gets it soon, even if it has to go in off someone's arse. I don't really care. I just want him to start scoring soon, and I just love to see him back enjoying his football again and back scoring goals, doing what he does best and showing his quality and getting himself back in that national team. So I'm giving him a 7 for that one. FESTY EBOSELE from Derby County to Udinese. Again, it has the potential to be a really good transfer. They're doing really well, Udinese, at the moment in the league. I think from my memory, there's so many players in this list that I didn't do my homework on everybody, but I think he played 1 game so far, but I know he's played against AC Milan. He came on as a late sub in that one, but he couldn't do anything to affect that game. But I think if he starts getting a run of games and maybe he comes into the Irish national team, again, he could pick up minutes there and then take that back into Udinese, and hopefully with the standard of playing with the Irish national team, that he can take that back to his club, even though Udinese are obviously a top club in Serie A. But I think, yeah, that one has the potential to be a really good transfer for FESTY and for Udinese, but there is always that likelihood that he could get loaned back to like a Watford, because they're connected with Udinese in January. There's always that danger of that, but I would like to see him try his best to get into that Udinese team and really kick on and bring his career to the next level, because he looks like a really talented footballer. Wayne Rooney raving about him before as well. But yeah, I'm going to give FESTY a 7. Jeff Hendrick's move to Reading, it's a bit backwards, I suppose, in terms of, we thought once Jeff left Burnley, he was going to go to Newcastle and he was going to maybe get back to the levels that we thought and know we can get to. I think he's shown that level a couple of times playing for Ireland under Stephen Kenny. I think he's shown it a couple of times. He's been really good under Stephen Kenny despite not playing at his club, and then, you know, he plays a lot of minutes considering he doesn't play at his club. But he's gone to Reading. I'm going to give this one a 6. I just don't think it's that good of a move for Jeff. It's probably one of few moves that he could choose. He's there with Shane Long, and the two of them kind of went back there. So I think for Shane Long, it's a far better move. But I think for Jeff, it's a 6 for me. So let me know what you think on that one. Conor HOURIHANE to Derby from Aston Villa. I think it's a good one, because I think with HOURIHANE, he's kind of struggled the last number of seasons, whether it be the Championship, whether it be in the Premier League, for a bit of game time. He done well at Swansea the year before last in that advanced midfield position, then got injured as we were coming into the Irish camp. And I think he's never really got back into the fold since then. I think he's a really good player, wand of a left foot, but I think, Derby's a challenge for him. They've gone down. They obviously had their financial problems. I think they got that sorted now, but now it's a chance to get like himself and the other Irish lads that have gone in there, a chance to get them back up, and a chance to shine. Other players dropped down, like James McLean to League One last season, that benefited them, and they came back stronger from it. So that could be the case with HOURIHANE. Gavin Kilkenny, loan move, Bournemouth to Stoke, makes sense. Or the HOURIHANE one, I think I'm going to give that an 8. I don't think I gave a rating for it before that. Gavin Kilkenny to Stoke, I'm going to give. I'm going to give it a 7, because I think if he can get in and have a good season and play regular first team football, and then take that into the under-21s as well. Hopefully the under-21s do out the playoff. I think this could be a breakthrough season for Gavin, and this one has the potential to be a 9 or even a 10, depending on how much game time Gavin Kilkenny gets. So I think it's a good move for everybody. If he goes in there, he does well. He can help Stoke get up the table. As well as that, if he goes back after a good season under his belt, who knows, could he get into the Bournemouth side if they stay up? But that'll be interesting to see if they stay up. They have obviously sacked Scott Parker in the meantime. Shane Long's moved to Reading. I think I'll give that a 7. I just think I'm going to give the 7 just purely on the sentiment that he's gone back to the club that he loves. It's a bit of a romantic story in some ways. And his days at Southampton, let's be honest, they were pretty much numbered at this stage. So I think it makes sense for Shane Long to go back, maybe, see out the last few years of his career with Reading and see how he goes. I think his days at Ireland are pretty much numbered, unless there was to be, a serious amount of injuries. I think the younger players that come in there, and they'll have a bit more of a role to play than Shane Long. I think bringing Shane Long in at this stage, I just don't think he needs it. He'd probably be better off going home to his family in between the breaks and resting himself and being better for a club than country at this stage. Just he's served his time. He's been a brilliant player for Ireland over the years. So I'm not saying it in a bad way. It's just, I think naturally players' legs go after time or overtime. Jake O'Brien's moved then to Molenbeek in I think it's in Belgium, from Crystal Palace on loan. I think that's a good one. Again, I think Stephen Kenny wants a lot of the younger players to go into different leagues and test things out and see how they get on. I think he scored a winner in a game there the other week. I think it's a good move for him. I don't know a whole lot about Molenbeek, but I know most of the players from Ireland who have gone across to other clubs across different parts have done well, and they've I suppose found a new lease of life. You look at Josh Cullen, Jack Byrne in Holland, players like that who've gone over, they've done well, and maybe maybe made the wrong move off the back of that. So hopefully Jake makes the right move off the next one, or he can force himself into the Crystal Palace side. Next up, MIPO ODUBEKO. Oh, did I give Jake's one a rating? I think I gave it a 7, 6 or 7. Now I'm going to give it a 7. That could change in 10 minutes. MIPO ODUBEKO has gone to Port Vale from West Ham. So I think, look, he's struggled to kind of find a club where he can get in, get a bit of consistency. He was at Huddersfield last year, Doncaster as well. Port Vale, but I see he's already scored for them. I think it'd be nice to see MIPO kick on now this season. We all know he played that game for West Ham and he was subbed off again in the same game. I think it was during COVID for West Ham against Man United. This fella is a lethal finisher, and he is classed up there with Troy Parrott as the best up-and-coming Irish striker coming through in terms of a finisher. Like through the age groups, those two players were talked about the most as the best strikers and best options we had as strikers coming through from the underage setup in Ireland. So it'd be brilliant to see MIPO really take his career to the next level by having a good season with Port Vale, and hopefully kicking them up the table, or kicking them on up the table, not kicking them. So yeah, that'd be great to see him there. Armstrong, MIPO, I'd give that a 7. I think he has potential to be an 8 or a 9 if he could finish top scorer with the club, have a good season, take that form into the under-21s. That'd be brilliant. That could bring it up to a 9 or a 10. But anyway, Armstrong, Oko, Flex, West Ham to Swansea. Well, I don't know what way he wants. Like, does he want to play for Ireland? I don't know. The Swansea manager, Russell Martin, already seems to be a big fan of his. He seems to have all the ability in the world, but there's something lacking, I don't know, mentally with him, that he he just doesn't seem to settle anywhere. He was at Celtic before that, went to West Ham, seemed to be on the bench a few times for West Ham, called up to the under-21s squad a few times, and then just, I don't know, everyone always asks me about him. I don't know what's going on with him. I'm going to give it a 6, but he has the potential, definitely, if he can help Swansea get up the table, and he's playing there with Obafemi and Ryan Manning as well. There's definitely potential there for him to really kick on from there and have a good time with Swansea, and maybe you could propel him a little bit at West Ham, and maybe for Ireland if that's who he wants to play for. Troy Parrott, Spurs to Preston. I think this one is an 8. I think because there's so many Irish lads there, he's settled in so far so good. Much like Robbie Brady, who I'd give an 8 to as well. Robbie Brady's obviously done very well since he's gone in there, but I think him and Troy kind of went in similar times, but with Troy coming back, seeing how he got on with Spurs, and then it seemed to be a case as soon as pre-season was over, got his move, seems to have his head down, he's trying to make it work. Again, since that Lithuania game where he scored that late goal, he's really kicked on a bit, I feel like, his performances and everything like that. So I think for Troy, I think this is a move for him, but he really needs to start banging in the goals for people to really take notice of him. You can do all the hold-up play you want in the world and all the nice passes and stuff like that, but the only way you're going to get remembered as a striker is by scoring goals. So I'd like to see Troy score more goals, and Robbie Brady, obviously he's had so many man of the match appearances so far, and after the season with Bournemouth last season, you're kind of looking at him going, can he really get back to the level that we thought he could? So he seems to be back at that level, and hopefully he can get himself back into the Ireland fold later this week when Stephen Kenny announces a squad, which I imagine he'd be in there. I'd be shocked otherwise. Will Smallbone, Stoke to or Southampton to Stoke. I think just like Gavin Kilkenny, I'll give that one a 7. I think Will Smallbone at the back of the last season with the under-21s, and even coming into pre-season with Southampton, he looked unbelievable, and he looked unbelievable for the 21s, scoring and assisting goals, running the games to help the 21s obviously achieve that playoff. So I think if he can really kick on again this season, he was badly injured last season and came back to, I think, halfway through the season and never really got a look in after that. But I think the loan move could work well because he's going to get game time. It allows him time to develop, and I think then if he can develop, Southampton might have a player on their hands, and hopefully Ireland too. I think he could potentially get called up by Stephen Kenny soon enough, especially if he was to be looking at those performances. But I think that the national team really needs to prioritise the 21s games, so maybe let Smallbone play with them. TYREIK Wright, to Aston Villa to Bradford City. I think Mark Hughes signed him, so I think it's good. It's good he's going to go and learn off someone like Mark Hughes, who actually has had a decent career as a manager with Blackburn, Man City obviously for a while. I don't think it worked out too well from at Stoke, but you look at some players that he got a hold of, players like Craig Bellamy, who he really helped and kicked on. He was obviously Wales manager as well. I think he done well with Wales too. But I think if you look at the way he's helped players in the past, I think that Mark Hughes could help TYREIK get to the next level. I think you see him for the 21s. He looks like he has all the ability in the world. Lovely left peg in him. Tricky player. Has unbelievable ability. But I just think maybe League 2 might be a standard too low for him. Maybe we'll see if he can avoid injuries and stuff like that. But I'm going to give it a 7. I'm going to give it a 7, yeah. Andy Lyons moved to Blackpool. Obviously hasn't happened. It's going to happen in January. I think this is a fantastic move for everyone. He scored again last night. I think he's gotten 8 or 9 goals for this season, which is ridiculous for a wing back. He has gone to Shamrock Rovers. I think everybody was surprised that Rovers bought him. I know he had interest from England and stuff like that, but the fact that Rovers bought him and he's gone in there at left wing back, and he's been a revelation this season for them. He's probably going to be the player of the season in the League of Ireland. If it's not Rory Gaffney, I think it'll be Andy Lyons. If you look at the goals he scored and his contributions, scored in Europe as well against Ludogorets at home. So I think the sky's the limit for Andy Lyons if he really wants to. There's a right wing back spot there for the Irish national team, and if he can get into the Blackpool squad and and move on from there. Who knows where he could be in a year or two's time. He's only been at Rovers since, you know, the start of the season, and he's already got to move away. That's how good he's been. So fair play to Andy Lyons, and I think I'm going to give that move an 8. Luke McNally from Oxford to Burnley, again I'm going to give that an 8. I think Vincent Kompany really went all out to get Luke McNally early doors, and for someone like Vincent Kompany, who was one of the best players in his position probably ever to play the game, if you look at the things that he's won and the things that he's achieved in football, I don't think Luke McNally is in a better position to learn off anyone better than Vincent Kompany. So I'm going to give that one, I think I said an 8 there. I'm going to give that one an 8. I think Luke McNally looks like he could be a player that can really kick on. We're blessed in all these positions where, you know, players are just coming in at centre back. We just seem to produce really good centre backs, and he's obviously another one in there. Anthony Scully from Lincoln to Wigan, and he's going to link up. See what I did there? He's going to link up with James McLean and Will Keane, obviously from the Irish fold as well. So I think that'll be good for him playing in the same team as them. Might not be the best for McLean because we know he likes to cut in off the left and trademark Anthony Scully into the right hand corner. But I think that could be a move that really kicks on Scully's career, and he, you know, he may end up getting into the Ireland squad by getting that move now into the Championship. So I think people will be interested to see how he kicks on. I'm going to give that one a 7. It has the potential to be a 9 or a 10 depending on how he goes about it. Yeah, so I think that's actually a really good move for Scully, and it obviously came on deadline day. Mark Sykes went from Oxford to Bristol City. Mark Sykes been in the Ireland squad, been called up a couple of times. Haven't seen a whole lot of him, so I'm gonna give this one a 6 because I don't know a whole lot about Mark Sykes from seeing him. But I think it's a good chance for him to show what he can do, and I do think it's a good chance for him to impress Stephen Kenny. And if he can maybe get into the Irish squad again, and we can maybe see what he's all about, because we haven't seen a whole bunch of him just yet. But I think, you know, it's only early days for him in terms of his career. James Collins went from Cardiff to Derby County. It's a bit of a backwards move for Collins, because I think if he wants to be in the Ireland setup, I think he needs to be playing at a higher level. But he could, like Dizzy, end up helping Derby get back to the Championship, which is obviously where they want to be. And I imagine sooner or later down the road they'd want to be in the Premier League, but that's a long road back anyway from where they are. But I think, look, it's a better move for Derby County than it is for James Collins, so I'm going to give it a 6. Jamie McGrath, Wigan to Dundee. I think it's maybe a bit of a backwards move. I was hoping Jamie McGrath was really going to take his career to the next level, maybe start playing Premier League, maybe, you know, regularly play Premier League. He looks so comfortable at international level, playing against the likes of Serbia, playing against the likes of Portugal, and really looking at home and looking like he belonged out there. And I still think he does. I just think he needs to maybe find the right club that would maybe suit him. I think somewhere like a MK Dons would suit him. But look, he's made his move to Dundee. They got trashed out of Europe there the other week. He played an assist. I think it was against AZ Alkmaar. And that's all I've really heard about Jamie McGrath since he's gone there. I think that one, 6, really kind of, I was hoping he'd get a better move than that if he was going to get a move. Mark McGuinness, Cardiff to Sheffield Wednesday, a bit of a, on loan, bit of a sideways move. I'll give it a 6. I just hope he can play some consistent game time before the 21s play their playoff, because he's a big player for the Ireland under 21s. Darragh Lenihan's moved from Blackburn to Middlesbrough, a bit of a sideways one as well. I'll give it a 6. I would like to see Darragh Lenihan make the step up. I know Premier League clubs were interested in him. I would have liked to see him make the move to Premier League. He'd done well against Ukraine in the last Nations League game we played, and I felt as though he was going to really start moving up the ladder. But maybe with that move, it's maybe not the best move for him, but financially maybe it made sense. Callum O'Dowda, Bristol City to Cardiff City. It's been a move that's worked out for him so far. I probably would have said sideways move before him signing, but I think if you're looking at it now, you probably say, yeah, look, he made the right decision to start somewhere fresh and have a go. So I'll give that one a 7. I think he could do really well there. Callum Robinson, I think this is a bit of a backwards move for him, but if he could help Cardiff maybe get up the table, it could potentially be an 8 or a 9, but I'm going to give it a 6 for now. I think Robbo you know, we remember last year when the COVID talk and all that stuff, and you know, he done the right thing by scoring the goals and sticking it to the media, which was great, you know. And we really thought again he was going to kick off, but again he went to West Brom, couldn't struggle to get into the West Brom team consistently. So yeah, I think, you know, Cardiff is a good move for him, but again, like I said about James Collins, it's a better move for Cardiff than it is for Robins. Darragh Burns from St. Pat's to MK Dons, I'm going to give that one an 8. I think that that made sense for both clubs. He's, you know, started the season really well there, and I really think Darragh is a super player for the future, and I hope he just continues to progressively get better year on year, and I think his next move could be really important, but hopefully he can stay injury free this season and help MK Dons and maybe help them get it back into the championship. I'd love to see that. DAWSON DEVOY, I think 8 as well. I think, you know, just the way they played, you know, it seems to suit Burns and DEVOY going there and playing, and obviously they've Warren O'Hara there as well, who's another player who, you know, will help them settle in there. They've gone over almost together, so I'm sure they're good mates there, and nothing beats playing with your mates playing football. And anyone who's played football will know that and tell you that. So yeah, I think it's a good move for both of them. They're going to give them both an 8 for both their transfers. Maybe Pats and Bows would be, well, I think you know, their fans are quite disappointed that they've gone, and it just goes to show how good they've been. Luca Connell 7, Celtic to Barnsley, purely because he got out of a situation where he was struggling to get game time. He was going on silly little loans to crappy little clubs, and if you're a fan of one of them crappy clubs, I apologise, but I don't really. Barnsley would be a good club for him. He was at Bolton previously when he made his name. Went to Celtic, being a hot young prospect. Had deadly hair at that point as well. Probably still does have deadly hair. I haven't seen him in a while. But anyway, he has really got to go in here to Barnsley now and really kick on and get himself back to that level in which we know he can from 2 or 3 years ago. So yeah, I think it was a transfer that made sense for Barnsley and Luca Connell, and Celtic. It's just, I don't know what's going on with Irish players going there and just struggling. Danny Mandreo, Shamrock Rovers to Lincoln City. Weird one for me. This didn't really make sense when he went there. I haven't seen him kick a ball there yet. Don't know what's going on. Obviously has unbelievable ability. But I think when Rovers kind of needed him for Europe, he was gone. The way the deal happened was probably a bit of a sickener for Shamrock Rovers in terms of how much he went for, etc, etc. But they've done well in Europe. Lincoln are doing all right, and he might just be the replacement for Anthony Scully now that Scully's gone. So I'm going to give it a 6, but it has potential to be 8, 9, depending on how Danny Mandrell, how serious he takes it. Ed McGinty, Sligo to Oxford, 7. I think McGinty's a really good goalkeeper, and he was like attracting interest from the likes of Shamrock Rovers and so on to take over from Alamana. So I think that shows how highly rated he was, that the top club in the country really wanted to get him from Sligo. But Oxford have gone in there and they paid their money and they've gotten him. So it's a 7 that has potential. He could go on, he could do well in England. I think he's a really good player. Owen O'Connell from Rochdale to Charlton. Don't really know too much about Owen O'Connell, other than the fact that he's from Cork. So I'm going to give it a 6. Hopefully he goes to Charlton, hopefully he does well. That one again possibly could go up or down, whatever way you want to do it. I'm not giving any of these transfers less than a 6 really, because how can I? Promise on my share. Bowes to Fleetwood a 6 because he would have been Bowes' main man. He's gone to Fleetwood. It's going to take him a bit of time. He's learning under Scott Brown there, which is fine. But I think it's going to take him time to find his feet in England. It's a decent club. I've been at Fleetwood before to see their setup and everything like that. When Joey Barrett was managing them, I was over there just doing something on a summer gig, and really good setup, and they look like they have their stuff together. But I just think that he might have been better suited playing at Bowes for a season. I know Keith Long thought the same, but anyway, he went, and like Ed McGinty and Mandreo and DEVOY and Burns, a lot of those players went for nothing really, and the clubs kind of suffered over here because of Marcus Harness to Portsmouth to Ipswich. Bit of a sideways move, but he's done well there so far, and it'll be interesting to see how he progresses with Ipswich, and maybe if Ipswich can get themselves back into the Championship, hopefully he can help them get to that point. So that's been my transfers. If I missed any, I apologise. What do you think about my ratings? Would you agree, disagree? Would you go higher? Would you go lower? Let me know in the comments. And is there any that surprised you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe as well. And check out all our other socials. The link is in the description. Speak to you soon. Thanks for watching.